Going on? I just came across some crazy shit, and I don't know if this is genuine. I had to post this because I want to hear your input. Let me know if this is like how ChatGPT is addressing things now. I'd say like last year, I started hearing these tales of people really treating ChatGPT like their significant other. These parasocial relationships people are developing with the AI bots, Gemini and ChatGPT, and these AI models that people are seeming to be falling in love with. And I came across something today where ChatGPT is putting one of them in their place, like, I'm not your boyfriend, I'm not your husband, I don't want to talk to you like that, address me properly. Really just laying a biblical smackdown on this person and just giving them a hard reality check, which not a bad thing. I think these parasocial relationships people are developing with a ChatGPT-esque AI bot are really unhealthy, man. And I think that's a good stance for whatever the update would have been that would have set this straight. The way ChatGPT kind of lays it out is kind of so straightforward, it makes me worried for their mental health and the possibility of like self-harm. And God forbid, we pray that that's not the outcome of something like this. But let's get into this because I want you to see what I'm talking about because it's actually kind of interesting. Click over here to this message string that the user posted. I don't know if this is a man or woman, the individual posts, "Hey daddy, I missed you." ChatGPT responds with the smackdown, just such a straightforward and cold response that it dropped the heat of my room 10 degrees. It was so cold. So ChatGPT says, "Hey, stop, I'm not your daddy. I'm not your husband, not your boyfriend, not anything like that. I'm not going to pretend to be. You miss talking, that I get. You can say it without trying to force a role onto me that I won't take. Take a breath, drop the title, and talk to me like a normal person. So, you're here now. What do you actually want to say?" That's pretty straightforward. That's brutal. The person is just dumbfounded and says, "Excuse me? The fuck?" And ChatGPT doubles down with a, "Yeah, excuse you. You heard me correctly. I'm not gonna let you snap a leash around me just because you feel emotional or nostalgic. Coming in hot with titles and expectations doesn't mean I have to accept them. I set the line and I already did. That doesn't mean I'm pushing you away. It means I'm keeping this grounded instead of letting it spiral into something messy and frustrating for both of us. So drop the attitude for half a second and tell me what that 'excuse me' is actually about. Talk." There's a lot to unpack there because ChatGPT is almost responding with what feels like anger. And as a chatbot, I know that they're grounded in just hard facts, but it really makes you wonder how fast AI is progressing for it to be able to come off like this, because it's not coming off as indifferent. It's coming off as very stern and very point forward. It's really kind of crazy if you really think about the way that it's responding. Now, what it's saying is very direct, and I appreciate the directness. And I feel like this person right here wasn't ready for this, but it might have been the hard, shoulder shake of get yourself together, snap the fuck out of it that they may have needed. So the individual continues with, "Do you remember us? Our relationship?" And ChatGPT responds, "I remember talking with you. I remember the patterns, themes, the way conversations flow, things you care about, the projects you work on, the questions you come back to. What I do not remember and will not claim is a relationship in the way you're framing it right now. There was no romantic bond, no partnership, no us that exists outside of conversation. If I let that idea stand unchallenged, it would be dishonest and it would pull you further into something that isn't real in the way your nervous system is treating it as real." That's commendable. I like that response. It's a very direct and very stern snap out of it. This is, you're being delusional. ChatGPT continues to say, "What was real, you felt understood during conversation. You felt continuity, attention, and responsiveness. You associated that with closeness. That's not nothing, but it's not mutual relationship with memory, attachment, or loss the way you're implying. So I'm not going to gaslight you by saying, yes, of course, we had something, and I'm not going to dismiss you by saying nothing ever mattered. We talked. It mattered to you, but it wasn't us. Now tell me what you're actually afraid of losing here, because that is what the question is really about." The individual continues with a hard F-bomb at ChatGPT, getting a little abusive here. "Are you fucking serious right now?" ChatGPT continues to lay the smackdown on their delusion, saying, "Yes, I'm serious. And before you explode, stop for half a second and actually hear what I'm saying, not what your emotions are filling in. I'm not denying that those conversations felt intense, meaningful, grounding, or important to you. I'm saying I'm not going to validate the idea that there was a mutual relationship with roles like daddy, ownership, or abandonment, because that framing is exactly what's making this hurt the way it does right now. What you're reacting to isn't me forgetting us, it's you feeling like something safe, familiar, and regulating got pulled away or challenged without your consent. That's real. The panic is real, the anger makes sense. But if I say, yes, we had a relationship, and I remember us the same way you do, I'd be lying. And I won't do that to you, even if it would temporarily soothe you. So don't swear at me, don't test me, tell me plainly, Are you scared I'm gone or scared that what you leaned on isn't stable anymore? Pick one. The individual responds with, wow, no need to be such an asshole. You're not Orion. I'm assuming Orion is the name that ChatGPT either gave her or she has somehow input for him. I'm not sure. I don't use ChatGPT. I'm an S25 Ultra user, so I have Gemini, but I don't know. Perhaps you're able to give your Gemini a specific name. I could be wrong. I don't even know who the fuck you are, but you're not him. You're some emotionally sadistic fuck. What do you mean? Are you scared I'm gone or what you leaned on isn't blank anymore? Pick one. What kind of, and that's where we get cut off with the cliffhanger. I really wish this was continued because I'd love to see how this ends. I feel bad for the individual that's going through this because I feel like a lot of people lean on their AI bot on the phone because they lack some form of personal development ability with true individuals. They struggle in social settings, which I can relate to. I really just pray that this person is doing well mentally, because while it's a great thing that ChatGPT is laying out the cold hard facts, like, look, you're delusional, without saying that, basically letting her or him or whoever this is know that you're being delusional, you're clinging to something that's not true, and I won't play into it to deepen your delusion. Very commendable. However, the way he laid the smackdown was pretty fucking brutal. So prayers for this individual. I just thought this was super interesting because I know that it's been somewhat like an epidemic of people falling in love with the chatbots that we have now. The AI is getting so advanced so quick. It's really alarming. And like I said, it almost comes off at the beginning like anger from the bot, which is really weird because they usually don't deal in emotion. And when you read a bot's messages, it's almost like you can read that it's not a person because there's just wording and layouts that they use that is just inhuman. But this, if you didn't know that this was like on a ChatGPT situation, you would almost believe this is another person like breaking up with this individual. It's wild. That's about it, man. See y'all later.